As an agent, one of the things I recognize, having been a business owner and having built a number of business plans and sat with numerous people, my dad included, who was one of my mentors, I realized quite quickly as an agent that you don't own a business, generally speaking. You have a business that owns you, but if you don't sell, your business is out of business. So the business really owns you. You don't own a business. And as I went through the whole, from agent on a team to being an agent to running a team to running a brokerage, I realized that the asset that I had really wasn't worth as much as the recruiting brochure said when I first got into the business. So, that was one of the things, you can sell your book of business. How many have heard that before? How many of you, show of hands, know somebody who's successfully sold their book of business? One. Okay, and you do. Okay, there you go. So you can sell it, but getting paid is a whole different story. So that really doesn't work really well. So real estate's, generally speaking, this hamster wheel, and I wanted to get off the hamster wheel just like everybody else. And that's so when I think about this focus group of one, I'm going, how do we get off this hamster wheel, and what would be the ingredients necessary to be there? So we really went to the drawing board from April, May, June, and we started to work on what would it take for an agent, and I really had a focus group of one, which was actually me, and I said, what would it take for me to be willing to leave if I was at another brokerage, that brokerage, and come to work for eXp? And so we just we mapped it all out. We took all the models, put them side by side. Again, Keller had been the fastest growing real estate brokerage of all time at that point in time. And so we knew we needed to sort of build something that really matched up really well against Keller, Exit. There was another company called Connect Realty that was out there at the time. And of course the Remaxes, the Coldwell Bankers, et cetera. And so we started to model out, the split model, the 80-20 split, no franchise fee, $16,000 cap. We want it to be, once we went sort of nationwide, we want it to be the same thing everywhere. I realized that one of the things that had been missing for me when I was at Prudential and then Keller was I wasn't being offered any equity ownership really in either at the local level or, more importantly, at sort of the mothership level. And there was a lot of strings attached if I wanted to become a broker in a franchise system. And so I didn't go that route, but I always thought if I wanted to be shareholder, then lots of other people would want to be shareholders. So we actually went and picked up a public company and actually merged ourselves into it in 2013. And 2014, again, sort of the same growth rate. But at the end of 2014, the reason why we became that public company is we wanted agents to be shareholders. So we started to actually distribute shares to our agents and brokers based on various activities. Some people who are influential in the industry, Gene Frederick being the first major person. And literally with the equity piece, he says, nobody's got that. That's a game changer. And so he sold his 5 or 6 market centers. He was a regional owner, actually in Northern California. And he sold his regional interest and came over. And 2015, after he came over, first year we grew over 100% year over year. And so 2015, 16, 17, 18, we had over 100% year over year growth. So we went from a trajectory that was going to take us to about 10,000 agents by 2020 to now being over 20,000 agents today, which is it's been just an epic ride. So going on really in 2009, which was really important as well, is that we had really got to a perfect storm. Housing, of course, went down, went in the toilet, but technology, high-speed internet was now everywhere. We probably 2007-ish, we now had high-speed internet in our homes that was probably faster than the internet that you still had at the office. So so we had the T1s that were in the office, but at our home we were having 3, 5, 10 megabit connections. Now, I use my phone, it's got a 25 megabit connection. I mean, literally it's faster than most cable internet connections, and I've got it on my phone. So technology finally got to a point where you didn't have to go to the office to get listings, or not listings, but to actually, to get access to listings, upload and do all that stuff. You could literally do it from anywhere. Cloud-based real estate brokerage, we're really obviously super agent-centric. And we're great for, on the staff side as well. And this last 2 years in a row, we actually were ranked one of the top 50 small to mid-sized companies to work for. And which is kind of crazy because we have no physical space, so we have no offices to go to. So we're, I always say to people, if you want to create a better experience for your employees, get rid of your offices. And so of course that will save them all the commute time and everything else, but it's kind of cool. And then I was named top 50 CEO. For the last 2 years in a row as well on Glassdoor. And so these are our agents, brokers, and staff. Again, it's kind of just really cool to be in a place where everybody really loves what we're doing and how we're helping agents and brokers. This last year, we also did a couple interesting acquisitions. A company called Virbela, which is really our virtual world platform for business. And today was kind of a really unique day. How many of you know who Peter Diamandis is? A few folks? Okay, so who's heard of X-Prize? Okay, a few probably similar hands. Okay, so anyway, he was the guy that went and got the $10 million prize for the first rocket that was privately owned to go to outer space that eventually got bought by Richard Branson's company to actually do that. And he's got a whole bunch of other things, over $200 million in prizes to help the planet in social causes. And he's partnered with Ray Kurzweil with Singularity University. Anyway, he did an event in our campus today with some really interesting folks in the Virbela Open Campus. But we're starting to get this really unique people using the platform. We're really at a really unique place in real estate brokerage. We're really in this sort of, I'll call it platforms versus franchises. And what I mean by that is you've got platforms. Obviously, eXp, I'm going to suggest, is a platform. We're one single brokerage operating in all 50 states. We have no franchises. And it gives us unique economies of scale so we can actually, partner and do some really cool stuff. Obviously, you've got some other companies out there, Compass, who's been just throwing money at everybody, are trying to, build their platform. And you've certainly got, Zillow, and to some extent, Keller Williams is a platform. It's still a franchise, but it's a platform. But one of the things I've been thinking about quite a bit in the last year or so, and we're starting to see it. Anybody follow stocks like Realty, Remax? They've kind of taken a little bit of a nosedive over the last few years, a couple of years especially. And I think one of the challenges that in the face of technology, franchises have a lot of challenges sort of pivoting inside of that face of that technology. Amazon going to do in real estate? What does it mean to have a cloud-based brokerage that's one platform? And then you've got companies that have an average of 5 years left on a franchise agreement that have certain physical bricks and mortar constraints and have other sort of elements to it. Franchises are going to have a lot of challenges over the next 2, 3, 4 years. And I don't know that they've got a way to get out of that. We are in a competitive industry. There's only so many homes, and new models are going to emerge. And I think the franchises are going to have a lot of challenges here over the next few years. So you guys are in the right place, obviously at the right time to sort of be at least exposed to some of the new trends that are going on in real estate. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But Brent.
So I wanted to go ahead and ask you, a lot of people want to know, 5-10 years from now as we're opening up Australia and the UK in the fourth quarter this year. How many countries do you hope to open? I mean, your initiatives over the next 10 years. How many countries a year, or where do you hope to be in 10 years as far as international growth?
Yeah, I think we're just in the process of opening up the UK and Australia. So I think our official launch dates will be in October for those two countries. But our goal would be to open 3 to 4 countries a year. So that will take us to 30 to 40 countries over the next 10 years. And we've got some great people in house to help us with that.
So this is a big deal. There's 208 countries worldwide, best estimates, but the agent broker population at 25 million. So I want to hit you with something that we get hit with all the time as agents. I know Noli Williams, who's the famous short sale guy for Keller Williams. If you know Noli Williams, the cowboy hat out of Texas, and he's probably one of the most iconic people at Keller Williams, was told that our revenue share was not sustainable. This company would collapse. You've been hearing this for a decade. It's 10 years later, but anyways, we're on the NASDAQ now, but anyways. And so Sean Kokoska, who's now at eXp, Noli Williams, who's now at eXp, Kyle Whistle, who's going to sell 1,000 homes now at eXp. We could list hundreds of mega superstars, national names that are coming in the next few months. You're like, no way. They're here. They're all coming. They are coming. But they were taught passionately, and I get it, by RE/MAX and Keller Williams and other brokerages, because they're just not going to roll over. The Lakers are not going to say, let's face it, the Golden State Warriors are a fall superior ball club. The Clippers are not going to go, you know what, the Lakers are way better than we are. The Oakland A's are not going to say the Giants. They each have their, do you all get this? So don't be surprised when they're trying to do their best as to why you should not leave Coldwell Banker for RE/MAX. And that's when I left RE/MAX, I went to Keller Williams. They did their best to convince me that Keller Williams would destroy my career. Did that happen? No, but I was leaving the RE/MAX kingdom as one of their big stars. So there's a lot of misinformation with eXp. One of them is rev share is not sustainable. Would you address that head on as to why it is sustainable and why we could expect to be here in 10 more years and 20 years?
Yeah, there's a couple of different things. One, a lot of times people will pull up our financial statements where we obviously, as a public company, where we have our financials are publicly disclosed. And we've grown a lot over the last, even last year we grew, 7,000, 8,000 agents. So a really, pretty significant number. And yet we, had losses that showed up on our financial statements, and most of that was all attributed to distributing equity to our agents and brokers. So one of my big things and passions has been to actually want agents to be shoulder-to-shoulder shareholders with me as a founder CEO. And so every time we do distribution of stock, it actually counts as an expense against the company when you actually sort of put the books up. So on the flip side, we've been cash flow positive literally since inception. I think once we got past about 300 agents or so, we've generally been cash flow positive, which has been great. But at the same time, rev share has been one of those ones that, if you look at the numbers, it can get a little bit scary to think about what's the amount that we're going to pay out. Now, one of the things, we've been right around about a 50% payout of our company dollar. So 20% so on that 20%, we pay out about 10%. Actually got a little bit above that. Last year it actually got a fair bit above it, but we actually started to administrate the rev share program as it was originally designed. And so that brought it back a bit. But we've actually made a commitment to always pay out 50% of the company dollar in the form of rev share. So I want you to sort of understand that 50% of the company dollar will be paid out in the form of revenue share. At the same time, we as a company are actually retaining 50% of company dollars so we can pay the bills and make investments and those types of things. So
and how many homes you've sold in your career?
Luigi Caprio, approximately 2,000 homes. Of course, it took 30 years, but
2,000 homes. Glenn, say hi. And how about yourself?
Tom Daves, 7,000 homes, $1 billion in real estate.
All right, congratulations.
I don't even want to say now. My hero, Mike Bjorkman, 40, about just under 5,000.
That's so tight.
Hey, Bob Burton, Auburn, about 2,100. Right. 40 years.
Hey, buddy. Say hi to Glenn. Hey, Glenn. How are you doing?
Alan Savage from Grass Valley, a little over 3,000 properties.
They have 3,000 properties up there? Hey, meet Glenn. All right. Good.
Hello. Hi, Leslie Henderson from Reno, Nevada, and somewhere around 2,000.
All right, congratulations. Good job, brother.
Kevin Cooper, Elk Grove, 1,600.
All right, good job.
Marguerite Crispillo, 3,500 and counting. And I started out as a Luigi Caprio's assistant.
Wow. And Brent Gove, over 4,000 homes sold in my 23 years. That's pretty cool. So I want to get on this stage with these guys.
Mentoring is totally different than it was 20 years ago. You know, I had mentors that we would get together for coffee and we would do things. Now, because of social media, because of the internet, a lot of our mentors are now online. And so this whole concept of remote work is really just a natural progression in how society is developing over time. And you're either trying to chase the past, trying to build the old model, or you're trying to build the new model. And I'd rather be focused on the latter and focused on, you know, where are things going and being part of that trend. So my overall vision for success is really about taking personal development to the masses. And I know that's always been the mission of success, but I want to add a ton of additional resources to that. Because of the success of eXp Realty and what we've been doing with Virbela, we think that there's an opportunity to literally expose millions upon millions of people around the world to the principles of success and help people all over the world level up their game, level up their opportunity, level up their life, level up their relationships. And so for that, I think that this is a great partnership.